All right. Hello, everyone. Ding, 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 toes. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about, hello, everyone. It's a Wednesday training time. I'm going to be talking about inbound lead conversion. So this is what I do during the day. I'm going to take you through a couple different things. So we're going to go over the lead sources. We're going to go over the journey that the leads take before they get to you. We're going to go over the qualification and appointment setting procedure. And then at the end, we're going to go over goals for success on how to use the CRM to leverage your chances of writing an offer with these leads after you meet them in person or for a buyer consult or for a go show. So the leads are broken up into two basic categories. So for me, I have high quality leads, which consist of two basic types of leads. There's either a live transfer lead or somebody who is looking for more information about a specific property or looking for information about listing their property. And so for the live transfers, these lead sources would be Zillow, Premier Agent, Realtor.com, Ojo, and Dave Ramsey. So all of these lead sources have a buyer or a seller on the line, allegedly, that is willing to talk to an agent at that time. So these are the bottom of the funnel is what we call it in the lead funnel. So the top of the funnel would be the people that are just clicking and looking at listings for the first time from home. And the bottom of the funnel would be somebody who's ready to tour properties and put an offer in on a house. The live transfer leads, Zillow, Realtor, Ojo, Dave Ramsey, those are going to be people that, well, Zillow, Realtor, and Ojo are going to be people that have questions about a specific property that is on the market right now. I will be talking to those people over the phone as the initial point of contact with them. So that's the best chance for me to set an appointment with those people because they want to, they're calling me looking to set an appointment. So then the fourth one, Dave Ramsey, is a little bit not as specific or granular in their focus of what they're looking for, but they know that they're going to be looking for a house here in the area within the next 6 months. That say they looked on the Dave Ramsey website for what are called endorsed local providers, which are realtors in the area. They're in this like financial program and they want to make sure that the people that they're connecting with are in the same like mindset for their financial journey. So those are the live transfer leads. Those are the highest quality ones. Those are the ones that are closest to making an offer. And the next one down would be showing and listing requests. So these are people who have specific properties that they're interested in, but weren't on the phone when I got their lead information. So these can come from Zillow, Trulia, which is another Zillow offshoot, Realtor.com, direct traffic from our website. Kyle has been working to get our website at the top of the search engine results. So even like when we picked our website name, you know, Thai food near me, when people type that in, Thai food near me is a cool name to name your Thai food restaurant because it's going to be at the top of the search results. So we named it Real Estate Monterey County. If they're looking for real estate in Monterey County, they're going to come to our website. And so as soon as I get their information, then they start their lead journey. So, and then another one is Celebrity Agent. This is a new one that we're doing where we send direct mailers to owners of properties that are directly comparable to sales that we just facilitated in the neighborhood. So like for Austin's Saddle Road, these mailers go out to homes that are in the similar square footage, price point comp to the Saddle Road property, says, hey, we just sold your property at this price. Do you want to talk about listing your property? What do you think about this? And it gives them numbers to call. And so we're just trying to basically circle prospect on all of our trades. BHG used to have a QR code thing that you could scan or text a number on a listing, the sign that's sitting outside of the for sale sign. But that was a little janky. So those are more old leads. It didn't really work like they told us it was going to. Then the second tier group would be lower quality leads. So these aren't low quality leads. They just aren't leads that are on the phone, or they aren't leads that are inquiring about a specific property. So this would be the people that are just clicking on listing links through searches on Google, Bing, Facebook, or YouTube. So we pay to have our link at the top of the search results when people are searching for stuff that pertains to our business on any of those, Google, Bing, Facebook, or YouTube. And then I also get nurture leads, which are from the Zillow, Trulia, and Realtor. They're people that didn't respond when the automation reached out to talk. So they're people that are from like the higher quality leads that didn't respond when an operator tried to connect them with an agent. So they still are talking about specific properties. They just haven't answered the phone yet, so I haven't talked to them. So those would be one tier down from the lower quality leads. And then the next ones are more lower quality leads. So these are old lead, these include old lead sources. So these could be from any number of places where you guys got lead information and put it into Sierra, but they no longer are communicating with you, or they, you talked to them one time at an open house and just they kind of fell off. So what I can do is I can put them on automated nurturing plans to just bump them every once in a while to try to re-engage them. When we re-engage them, then we can get them booked for a buyer consult or a property tour.
So what's the best thing for an agent to do when they get one of those people and they're getting ghosted by? Like, what's the process for
So the best thing to do if they have a person that they've tried to manually follow up with and it hadn't worked, just alert me to that, because what we want is to have the agents working leads that are workable. So if you have a bunch of dead leads in your database, you don't want those leads. Just give them back to me. I'll bug them until they pop back up. And then as soon as they do, I'll give them back to you guys. Yeah.
And I've collabed with Spencer on that before. So like we collab together. So then if it works, then he pops back.
Exactly. And Jen would be like, hey, these people like fell off the face of the earth. I'm giving them to you. And then I put them on like an old leads nurture program or something like that, just to like bump them on a regular basis, just so if they, they don't forget about us. So if they're ever, so we're at top of mind is what the biggest thing is with this nurturing is like, we always want them to win. So if they're not looking to make a move right then, we want them to think about us when they do want to make a move. So just to bump them every once in a while. The notes say like, hey, we connected a few months ago. I wanted to see if your plans had changed at all. I mean, it's super generic, and so it doesn't matter what the lead source is. It'll just kind of try to re-engage them.
With that too, I mean, when you get the open house lead, obviously they're going back, they're putting all the information into Sierra.
Yes.
So then when they tag it over to you, you're already going to know the story. If they input it on this date at this property, looking for XYZ, they're going to buy in X amount of time. This is their price range, all the parameters.
Well, and that's the important thing, because as you guys get more leads, it's going to be harder to keep track of all this information in your head, and all these leads are going to start blending together. Like everyone's kind of similar. So it's like, and then what you don't want to do is start having a conversation. I used to do this in financial planning. I'd have a conversation with somebody. It's the totally wrong person, but they have like a very similar, and they don't even know that I'm talking about the wrong person. But then in the mid conversation, it's like, oh shit, this isn't all right. So what I try to do in the CRM is as soon as I have a conversation, because I have a bunch of conversations with people and they might not always turn into an appointment, but if I put that information in Sierra, as soon as it while it's still fresh in my mind, then if I forget about it, it's no problem, because I can just go back to those notes that are already in there. If I'm trying to keep all this stuff in my mind, you set yourself up for a little bit of a stymied problem. That was just the first one. Open houses was an example, but any of your guys's Sierra leads that you put in, because you guys are putting leads into the database all the time. If it's somebody that you're not actively working, there's no point in them to be on the front page of your dashboard all the time. So let me bother them until they pop back up, and you guys can focus on the people who are actually looking for properties. ForFact is another mailer program that we have that is kind of like, it's the celebrity agent, but we've been running it longer. So it's like for, if we're targeting certain neighborhoods, I think Kevin has it for when we do you guys still do it for trades? Or is that good?
Yeah, we have trades in Austin and generated a farming campaign with it right now.
Yeah. So those are another thing of old leads. So if those people, if you want to give them to me to re-nurture once again, that's what I do. And then any ghosts. So just like I was saying, anybody that you guys had been communicating with previously, that either stopped answering your calls, stopped answering your texts. Instead of you guys manually having to worry about bumping them, just hand them over to me. I'll add you as a collaborator, so then I know when they respond to me, I can loop you guys back in and you can pick up where you left off. Then the last thing, lower quality leads, and one of the benefits that we have for having a property management company attached to us is we get all the CNC inquiries. So I think we've already converted a couple. I think your Austin one was a CNC inquiry.
Austin's close to.
Two CNC. Oh yeah, it's a home buyer.
Home buyer.
So the home buyer thing. So we get new inquiries for people looking for rentals. A lot of the rentals in this area are the same price as if you were going to pay a mortgage. So some of those people might, if they're looking for a house, you know, a single family home in Carmel, they could buy a house in Marina for that same price. So it's good to at least ask them if they'd considered the option. Past tenants, I bug them all the time. I have automations to put them on, like if somebody communicated with me and said, hey, I'm not interested in buying, I'm only going to rent. But I have an automation that I think will last 10 years. And then the current tenants are all in there. So just like we were talking about Homebuyer 101 seminars, we had Jeff come in here, talk about financing programs for new buyers, talk about all these incentive programs to get people more information about, because, you know, 20% down scares people. So what we are trying to do is provide information to tenants to make the transition from renting to owning a little less scary. And then we're also hitting up PM prospects, so people who own properties that are income properties, like in the Bay Area, San Jose, and then owners that are CNC owners. We work those too. I think I sent out like 300 CMAs to the owners. Okay, so those are the basic types of leads. And then the next step is what happens when a lead is captured. So this is the lead qualification process. So the first click, the start of the process, is when the lead information is captured and new lead notification is received. So if that's a Zillow lead, that will result in me getting a phone call from Zillow. If that's a realtor market VIP lead, I'll get a live transfer from an operator. If that's a Dave Ramsey click, then I have to log into the Dave Ramsey site, call the number, enter the PIN, then it will release their information to my CRM. So each lead thing is a little bit different. The high quality leads that I was talking about would receive a phone call immediately. So if they are either transferred to me by the website that's the lead source, so Zillow or a realtor, or I call them directly. That's if it's a Dave Ramsey or an Ojo referral or the next step would be the automation applied. So some people, like a Google pay-per-click, I don't call every one of those leads. So those leads, what I do is I get an email when it comes in. As soon as the email is received, I go into Sierra. I make sure that their lead information is correct. So is it a real name or is it like some made up name? Is it a real phone number or is it all fives? Is it a real email address or, you know, did it bounce on the first email? And so I update all that stuff in Sierra, set the right lead tag, and make sure that the right automation is applied. And that starts the reaching out to them process. Then once two-way communication has been established by either the initial call or the automation doing its magic, that's when I qualify the lead. So the qualification process, which we'll go over in a second, is all the questions that I ask them to see if they would be a good fit to work with us or if we can help them. And then if they are, I set the appointment. So the appointment being set is when you guys are alerted of the lead being qualified. I added all my notes from my call or my communication with them in the CRM. I've sent a calendar invite to you and the lead, and I've assigned you the lead in Sierra. So then take it from there, agent, you know. Qualification process. So I've broken the qualification process into like 3 different steps. So there's where are they in the process? Are they a good fit for our brokerage? And when are we going to meet you guys? So where are they in the process is motivation. So I ask them questions like, what's motivating you to find a new place? I ask them questions like, have you had the opportunity to take a look at any homes yet? Describe your ideal home. You know, what neighborhood or areas are you interested in? Are there any non-starters? Is there anything that would exclude a property from being considered by you? automatically. And so after I get all those, hopefully what I can do by asking those questions is also determine if they're a good fit for the brokerage. So that's by asking them if they worked with an agent before. You can kind of hear what they're, so if they're describing their perfect property, if they're describing something that's, you know, a lot different than what we have here, then that you can ask more information, get clarification on if they're a good fit for our brokerage. Are we able to help this person? Are they looking in an area that we are servicing? I'm also trying to disqualify leads that are not good as well. So that's part of the lead qualification process, is weeding out the people that aren't buyers. And so the last step, if they're qualified, is when can we meet? So I'm trying to pitch a buyer consult every time, because that just sets the hook in so much better than meeting somebody at a property where they can think that they just click on a link and they meet a new agent every time that they go to a property. I'm always trying to pitch the buyer consult, but sometimes we'll do a go show, but just know that I've already pitched them the buyer consult. So my advice would be to add as much value at that go show in buyer consult form as you can on the fly. Okay, so for the handoff process, so after the appointment has been set, either the buyer consult or the go show, the best steps for success is to reach out to the new lead as soon as possible for a more seamless transition. Because I just sold you as like, so what I try to do is I make the introduction when I'm talking to these people initially. And as I find out more information about them, I have to pretend like I know what they're talking about. So I have to kind of know a little bit about all these different nooks and crannies. But what I'm really trying to do is tell them that, you know, who you really want to talk to is the market specialist. Like, because that's not me, that's this person who I'm making the appointment with. Because now that I know what you guys are looking for, like I'm linking you up with someone who can help you out. And so as the agent, your job is to reach out to the new lead as soon as possible. Say, hey, you know, Spencer was just filling me in on your conversation. Can't wait to meet on this afternoon or this next week. So I'm trying to set these appointments as close as possible, because this is a very emotional thing for these people. And so if you let them cool off, the chances of them finding an excuse to no-show you or to not text you back is increased with each day. So I'm trying to and that also is why speed to response on you guys. If I text you guys a question or something, if you're available, it helps for you guys to get back to me fast, because I got somebody on the line that might jump off if they get a little bit too much pause. So reach out to the new lead ASAP for a more seamless transition is my advice. Add notes in Sierra as soon as you have a conversation with them. Just like I said, the longer you wait to add the notes, the more information that just evaporates from your brain, because everyone's thinking about a bunch of stuff and there's only so much room in your head. And then the other thing is to keep your calendars updated. What I try to do when I'm setting appointments for you guys is I look at your Google Calendar. So if you have stuff blocked off, I can kind of steer them to the right times of the day. So if they tell me, oh yeah, I'm available Wednesday afternoon, and I know that the agent has something till 3:30, if your calendar's updated, I can say, hey, how about 4 o'clock? If your calendar's not updated and I try to set an appointment early and then I'm going back and forth with them, you might lose the appointment. So that's what we don't want to have happen. So yeah.
So if you have second jobs or kid pickups or sports that you play in a tennis club, something like that, have that blocked on your calendar at all times, because then it's easiest for Spencer to know, like, oh, perfect. Melissa can't pick anybody up. Melissa can't meet with people between 2 and 4 because she has kid pickup. Or you don't have to say why. You can just say, oh, she has 2 to 4 blocked off.
Yeah.
And he doesn't see what I name the calendar, what I'm doing. He just sees it's unavailable.
So if you work on Tuesdays, just have your Tuesday completely blocked from your Google Calendar, and then Spencer knows. I won't send her.
Then I don't have to set an appointment. Yeah. Or I don't have to bug you like, hey, are you available on this day? So I can, because I don't want to skip anybody, but I just need to know when I should book these things, because they are time sensitive. And just like we were saying, speed to lead is super important. So this is your first impression with this new lead. I've already been hamming them up and telling them how cool you were for the last little bit. So don't blow it by ruining this first impression. Like, reach out to them, say, hey, I've heard everything that you guys are looking for. Can't wait to meet you on Saturday or whatever. And I got a couple other houses that you might be interested in too. That's the thing that's going to differentiate us from the Zillow clicker that they just want to meet a new agent every time they tour a property.
And the amount of charm that you have to put into that, like you did a good job seeing it, but seriously, like it's good. We have to remember, and I have to remind myself all the time, like meet that lead with the same enthusiasm and charm that you've been laying on. It's so hard for you to get those people to the handoff. It's incredible. And so it is, we need to come in like, I'm so excited he can ask me that. Heard about you, right? And so that's like so big because you weren't over there just like, oh, please hold transfer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They don't want that.
And Vivian the other day in the office was so disappointed you weren't there, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Lisa still talks about you, like you.
Well, I mean, it's like, I really talked to these people for months. Over months. So it's like, we do have kind of a relationship, even though I'm not, helping them.
Oh, and miraculously though, you do a really good job with, they're not disappointed at all, usually, at all. Vivian just thought you'd be here. Well, she wanted to meet you sometime. But usually they're like so happy to meet me. You do a good job of.
Because I try to say like, hey, you don't want to talk to me. You want to talk to Melissa. She's the pro.
That's amazing that they aren't, well, I thought I was working with him though, and that's never happened. Yeah.
Cool.
Really good.
Well, that's good.
I'd say like Spencer told us you were the specialist.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, I am.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so the post-appointment checklist, after you guys meet with the lead, so if it's the Go Show or a buyer consult, fill out the lead summary. So as soon as I assign myself as an ISA, or I think it's appointment set, one of the other tags, it gives you a little template of the lead summary. So it's like motivation, where are they looking, price point, are there any red flags, who's their lender, like all that stuff. And so if you fill that out and put it in the little lead detail thing right under their name in Sierra, it's such an easy cheat sheet for you guys to remember these leads and like, oh, okay, I know exactly. I remember these people exactly, because it's like a little reminder for yourself. And just like I've said a million times, the sooner you do that, from the time that the meeting ended to the time that you put the notes in Sierra, the more information you're going to be able to transfer from your brain to the CRM. Then what you want to do is tag follow-up A, B, C, or D, or not interested. If they're not interested, let me know, transfer them back to me, and then I'll put them on a not interested plan and try to re-engage them. And then that way you're only working leads that are actually in the buyer funnel. And then what you also want to do is have a scheduled follow-up task. So you can either do the traditional A, B, C, or D plan. You can schedule yourself if you have something that if their kid's waiting to graduate or something, or they're sick, put a note in there like check in, kid about to graduate middle school, or check in, see if they're better from COVID or something like that, to remind yourself what you talked about last time, so you just don't seem like you're, cold calling somebody when you're check following up with them.
And not only that, it can be applied to the actual servicing. Follow up on appointment from Tuesday where we talked about that house.
Yes.
Follow up on the properties that I sent them 2 days ago. Like, you could give yourself checkpoint reminders along the way.
So much easier if we did it that way.
And the worst thing you can say to Lisa, I'm just following up. It's like, great.
Yeah,
If you're just calling, but if you're calling follow up about something or checking how this went, then that's a better conversation.
One thing I really got to say here is especially this basketball's on my mind. We're playing the Lakers, but Spencer is the point guard, right? He's the one that's taking the ball down the court and he's throwing it out. He's not going to pass it to you if you don't make baskets, right? If you're the one that's always going to turn the ball over, you're getting skipped. He's going to completely ignore you. This is how he knows that you're following through. So if he comes in and you have 50 unmarked tasks and everybody gives you just goes to die,
It's just blank.
and there's no information on it, guess what? You're not going to get the ball. Like, that's just how it goes. So he's the point guard. He's the person that's doling these out, and this is how he gets paid also, right? It's not like Spencer is sitting here not invested in this. You get paid by the sale. He gets paid by the sale. So he's just as invested in these leads as you. Do not let him down.
And then the fourth thing is set up e-alerts. So you guys know exactly what they're looking for. Set them up on e-alerts and be generous with the e-alerts. Don't be too granular, so they're getting more homes as opposed to less. And then that's another reason for them to click back on the site. You can see what they're looking at. You can get the email that says, hey, they returned to the site. They clicked on this listing 5 times. Like, okay, hit that person up because they clicked on this listing 5 times. Yeah, so that's the end of the thing.
And to add number 2 tags, one that's missing there is that I just told Spencer about today is tag no show if they don't show. So if you don't tag no show, everybody's going to assume that you met with that person. And then if we assumed you met with that person and no activity happened, everyone's going to assume that you're not doing your job, right? And so you're going to hurt your close ratio. But if you tag no show, then it'll get transferred back to Spencer. You'll get your spot back in line for leads. So you don't get skipped on missing on that no show. You get back in the lead rotation, and then it goes back to Spencer so he can try to re-engage them. And if he's able to re-engage them, they might go back to you, or they might just go to a different agent, just depending on how it works out. That part's undecided, but you know, it's huge for your like stats and for how Spencer views what you're doing and how the entire company views what you're doing is whether or not you tag that no show. Because if you're getting no showed a bunch and we think you're going on all these appointments and you have a 0% close ratio, probably gonna stop getting leads.
Yeah, so no shows, you guys can't do anything about that. So,
No.
you know, tag them and give them back, and then I can put you, you know, you wouldn't lose your place in line. You're up again.
That's so awesome, because we would find yourself probably going like, well, shoot, they no-showed. Do I get a spot again? Is he gonna take that into account? So what a great effort for everybody.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna break it up into the groups and do an activity now around this. And so I'll take the Zoom group. So I'll pop up my computer and take Zoom, and then I wrote down Shania, Jen, and Austin go together. Austin, have you lead that group. You have 5 people assigned you on Sierra. They're test leads 1, 2, 3, 4. Spencer test lead 1. So each one is a scenario. Okay. And then so just so go through and play the scenarios. Create a plan for each person. So what are we gonna do? These post-appointment checklists, and then create a plan of how we're going to attack this person. What we're going to do, how we're going to get them active and seeing properties, how often we're going to follow up with them, what type of things we're going to follow up with them about, things like that. So treat these as mock. The alerts and all that stuff. The alerts, yeah, to get them all set up. And so then what's going to happen is Spencer's not participating in this. And so he's going to go through and look at what we all did after the fact. And he's going to give us all grades, and tomorrow get some feedback. Yeah, give us some feedback on how we did. All right, let me share the mock scenarios with everybody real fast. All right, so I'm going to pick on somebody for each one to kind of lead us on what we should do. And then we'll kind of get collaborative on how we do it. The scenario is we have an appointment met with a buyer over Zoom. So we met them over Zoom. They want to relocate to either Aptos, Capitola, Santa Cruz, or SoCal by the end of the year for retirement. They're pre-approved for up to 2 million, but they prefer to be around 1.7. They need to sell a house in Texas as well. It's a little complicated. And they have a lender they've worked with in the past, but they're open to local lenders and getting better rates.
Oh, that sounds like a hard one.
So you just met with this. Yeah, exactly. Right. But I've taken all these all these scenarios are ones that I've kind of just reformatted from ones that we've actually closed in the past. So these are all very, very possible.
All doable.
So let's do our post-appointment steps first, and then we'll kind of make our game plan on attacking them. So first thought, what's the first thing we do?
So we first fill out the summary based on what we know.
Let me get you that summary real fast too. I'll tag it so the automation kicks in.
So we have location is Santa Cruz. Price point is up to 2 million. For it to be around 1.7. We're gonna go with 2M. For the right property, they'll go for 2 million.
That's right. That's right.
So this would be the red flag, right? The pre-approval is contingent. Would that be a red flag, or would that just be like?
Yeah, I definitely call that red flag.
Yeah, let's see here.
They need to. There's the red flags that they need to sell first, and I think they haven't listed it, right? It doesn't say whether they've listed it yet, so it's just contingent on them selling it, though. But yeah, it's definitely a red flag.
Okay, so motivations. I say motivation here by the end of the year for retirement. Okay, retirement. Motivation is retirement. I'm assuming this is would be a sizing down for them. Timeline is by and up here. Partner would be, I don't know. And lender, I would have to find out who that is.
Yeah. And so if they're open to using another lender, let's get them connected with one of our preferred lenders too, because we do get benefits from working with those preferred lenders too.
So they have a lender that worked in the past, but are open to local lenders and better rates. If they're open to it, we're just going to set them up with a local lender. Okay, so I have their summary filled out. So that means that we met already. So then the next steps would be, I would usually just start sending them houses and touch base with them and stuff. But in this,
Yeah. What about our tag? What are we going to tag them on for their?
Yeah. Okay. So end of year, that means that they would be a follow-up C, I believe, if I'm getting that correctly.
Good work. Yep.
I would set them up on a traditional plan here. And that would be for follow-up C. Like that, right? And on top of that, I think that has a that gives me a task, right? There you go, follow-up call.
Yep.
And that would be for 5/3, which is today, and then thereafter I would just give them a call, I guess.
Yeah. Because you applied that traditional follow-up plan for today, so you could have applied it for the day that you wanted to follow up with them, and then it would prompt you to do it every 6 weeks thereafter.
So yeah, that would be the tag, and then I would apply the tag here too. So
it actually does it automatically if you do a traditional plan. So if you just refresh, it's on there.
oh, okay, cool. Okay, I didn't see that. That's fine. On the Sierra system, just the Sierra system, I know that I have like my systems that I go like I call them, I follow up with them, I send them some houses, put them on a search bar on my MLS.
Let's get them on a search on Sierra.
On Sierra. Okay, so that I know how to do. I think it was something like searches here and e-alerts, correct?
Right.
And there's also market updates and okay, I think
market updates are more so for sellers because they'll alert you to when things are selling in that neighborhood, and then e-alerts are going to be more for active listings popping up.
okay. And then let's see, send new listing emails with the search. And then so e-alert subject line would be if I press default, it's going to show this, right?
No, so that's the search name is hidden. That's only for you.
Oh, so what is the default then?
It's just like homes that are for sale in this area. It's pretty generic, but it's pretty good. I would just leave default, honestly, unless you had like some inside joke with them or something like that. And then what I do recommend changing is how frequently they be sent, because if you do daily, they're going to get daily emails no matter whether or not there's changes. So I like to do as soon as new listings hit the site, because then they're going to get alerted the second a new home hits the market. They're going to get an email for it.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, that works. Let's see, include MLS listings with status, active ones.
Yeah, just keep all that stuff.
So maybe sold, but you know, just a thought. City search would be just. Is it okay if I do map here?
Yeah, for sure.
I like my favorite feature. So, because a lot of the times they say Santa Cruz, but they really mean like Scotts Valley. They mean like Aptos, Real de Lamar.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by Santa Cruz.
That's true.
So then that would be that.
Mm-hmm.
So the map.
So it's already got you defined on that map. So yeah, you're all set on the location now.
Perfect. Price range max. I don't know. Let's go. I would say 2 million, but maybe like 2 million.
Yeah, I agree. I like the two. I like 2 too. Yeah, I like that.
I misspelled that. 2. Dang it. 2020. There you go. Okay. Got me all confused. And they didn't specify here. I would have written it down somewhere in terms of like their beds and baths and stuff.
Yeah, but since we don't have it, just leave it open, because that means they're flexible.
Okay, cool. Okay. Okay. See here. All of this would basically just.
Yeah, I don't recommend doing any of that, because it'll just make your search smaller, not bigger.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. So go ahead and save on that one.
Okay. So let's see here.
So what did everybody think of everything that he did with his summary, his tags and alerts, all that good stuff? Any questions, feedback on what he did?
It was cool to see all of that be done because I usually just like set the tags and then like search for properties myself and send it to them. I've never
Yeah.
used Sierra, so to be able to see that I could set it up to have it do it, that was pretty cool.
Nice, good.
I-
And then also on the left-hand margin, if you scroll all the way down to communication preferences,
Left-hand margin for communication.
and then right underneath that, it'll say other preferences. So click on other preferences. So if you click on this and you say BCC me on listing alerts, if you set that, it'll make it so you get all of these emails too. So that way you know what emails are being sent. With somebody who has as wide of search as this, I don't know if I would do it personally, but if I had somebody who had a more narrow search, like they were looking for a very specific condo complex or a very specific neighborhood, I probably would BCC myself so that I could know about it right away. Okay, then what do you guys think on plan of attacks? Like, how are we going to get this person closer to transact?
Okay, plan of attack would be to definitely touch base on the home that they're selling over in Texas. Let's get that done. That's like priority one. I personally, what I like to do is I like to look at the top realtors in the specific area of what they're selling, and then recommend those talk to them first, get something figured out with them, whether it be some sort of referral or whatever, and then sort of, I guess, interview them and pre-screen them, make sure they're going to take care of your clients, and then send your clients over to them, get them connected, and then get that moving forward. That would be the plan of attack starting out, I guess.
That's exactly what I would do. So that was really, really, really good. And this person who this is emulated after, that's what that agent did too. They sold that house, they bought, it all worked out. So really, really good, Diego.
Perfect. And then thereafter, then once they have their property listed, then we could take the search a little bit more seriously, because if they were to submit an offer, at least we know the home is listed. If we have a buyer in contract, even better. If it's sold, or actually it can't be sold, right? Because they have to do so it has to be like a simultaneous close. Is that what the situation is, Kyle?
Yeah, you probably have to do they'll probably have to do a rent back on their house in Texas, I imagine. And in order for them to then have that time in between to make the move is what I'm sure it would be.
Yeah. So as soon as that listing goes live, we should probably take that search more seriously.
So now what if they do delay a little bit, and with the listing of the home, how would you keep them engaged? Let's say they don't list until maybe late September.
How would I keep them engaged? Well, just touching base with the traditional plan and continuing to send them potential properties and candidates. That's the way that I would basically do it.
Perfect. Yeah. So I'm going to write down, because I'm writing a note for you on this. So touch base every 6 weeks and continue to send properties that fit their criteria. And what I would even recommend on that is, when you have one that fits their criteria, it's good for you to always preview properties for your client. So go preview it, take a video and shoot it over to them in a text message. You say like, hey, happened to be out on Broker's Tour today. Saw this one that I think would be a great fit for you. Like, let me know if you want to get more details on the disclosures and whatnot. So like, keep trying to like get them to make moves, to get them further down, to get them maybe to list their house sooner. Cause like, hey, we can't start making offers until you get your house listed. So like, if this was the right one, you might have just missed out on it.
Yeah, I've had that situation before. Not with my clients, but with the competing offer. The competing offer, they hadn't even listed their house yet. So that's very important.
Awesome. Good job, Diego. All right, Tiff, let's kick it over to you for this is scenario number 2. Perfect. So this person was a go show. You met him at the property. They're moving from Los Angeles to Salinas. The husband/father, same person, is taking a job with Taylor Farms. He's going to be in the tech department. Husband, wife, they have 1 kid and 1 on the way. They still need to be pre-approved, but state they have strong financials, including $100,000 for a down payment. His job starts in September, but they're flexible on moving time. They do own a condo in LA, but they want to keep that and rent it out.
Okay, awesome. So if it's a go show, I would definitely offer if they wanted Starbucks or anything like a snack before I met them there. And then after I meet them, I would get the summary to put in there. All right, so location, let's see, Salinas, right?
Yep.
Price point. Um, still unknown, right?
Still unknown, yeah.
Yeah, but they know their down payment. Motivation, moving from LA, new job. No red flags. Timeline in September. Partner would be me. Lender, not sure yet. Cash down. 100 down.
And then so Tiff, I recommend reformatting that so it's a lot easier for you to read. So go back and edit that again.
Okay.
And just hit return right before each number. Yeah. So that way it's really easy for you to perfect. See how much easier that is to read. Oh, my eyes
Yeah.
appreciate that so much.
Definitely. All right. And then I would go in and I would set a task for myself to follow up probably in 2 days and
I like
see
it.
what they liked, what they're thinking about their property that we viewed. And I would also offer to send them some more properties.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be it. And then I would just keep setting tasks for me every time I touch base with them. I would set a new task.
Okay. What about our follow-up tag? Which follow-up are they?
Oh, follow up C.
All right. So let me put that out to everybody else. What do you guys think about the follow-up cadence and the follow-up C?
Probably a B.
How come? What kind of qualifying questions would you ask for that, Stacy?
Because we have September and
Yeah.
because they already know that they're moving here for sure. And because they have $100,000 down, like ready to go.
Yeah. So if they say I would need to move September, a good qualifying question is, okay, so do you need to be in your new home by September, or do you need to be like start the process in September? And so in this one, they need to be here by September. So that means they need to be really in escrow by like what, maybe July 15th. That's 75 days away.
Yeah.
And they don't really have any flexibility on that. And he's moving here for a job, so like if you called this one an A, I wouldn't blink at it because he has to move.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then what do you guys think about the waiting 2 days afterwards?
One day.
Maybe the next day. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe even that afternoon, because if you think about it, if they're moving from LA to Salinas and you did a go show, they're probably here for like the weekend or a few days to see properties. And so you probably even wanted to show them multiple properties that day. So like you might want to just treat them like an A while they're in town in order to like, because it's totally possible they could get in contract
Yeah.
right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's the big red flag right now that we have especially with their timeline?
That they're not pre-approved yet.
Yeah, they're not pre-approved. So what do we need to do immediately?
Definitely send them some lenders so they can get pre-approved as soon as possible.
As soon as possible. Yeah, we need to attack the lender as soon as possible because if they don't get pre-approved, they can't buy and then they can't move, and they're going to be in a world of trouble.
Mm.
So these are the type of people I would attack them. I would just go all in on these people because this is going to be a guaranteed transaction in the next 2.5 to 3 months for you. And these people are in a rush. And so I would be sending them properties as much and as fast as possible.
Yeah.
What about e-alert? Set us up a e-alert real quick.
Okay, so I've never done that before.
Cool. Let's try it out. So do you remember which one it is under?
No.
Okay, so if you go up, it's under searches. Perfect. And then just create an alert. And just kind of go through these primary prompts.
I would do daily.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like this is a good one to do daily on because they're so urgent. Like you might want to resend them the same properties. When it's somebody like how Diego had those 9 months out, I like to do as soon as they hit. But yeah, I agree with you on this one daily because like let's give them as much information as we can.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't really have their max price yet, so
No, but they have 100K down, so like 1.2 is probably their max budget.
and I would leave
And
the
then they have 1 kid and 1 on the way, so they're definitely going to need 2 bedrooms, maybe even 3. But so I would probably do minimum of 2 bed. And then that probably was something you would have gotten the appointment was don't do 2 baths just because our area has we have so many old homes. You don't want to, you definitely want to be careful in the baths because especially with how we have older homes that were built in the 60s that are typically built with 1 bathroom. And we have a lot of water credit issues on the peninsula. So you really narrow down your search a lot when you do 2 baths, a lot.
Yeah.
So even though somebody wants 2 baths, I'm always like, hey, we're going to look for 2 baths as much as we can. But if the perfect house only has 1 bathroom, are you going to take it? And I think most people, maybe in the beginning, they might say no, but once they have a chance to like see some homes, they're gonna be like, yeah, I only have 75 days to find a home. I'm gonna take what I can get. Perfect. I think you're good to then go ahead and save that.
Perfect.
And then what's going to be your plan of attack with them?
My plan of attack would be to stay on top of all the new properties that are in their criteria and just contacting them every day and sending them things and making sure that they get in contact with a lender so they get the pre-approval letter.
I like it. Good job, Tiff.
Thank you.
Quick question, Carl.
Yes.
I was reading that one too, and it said that they would want to rent out their property in LA. Would you also help them out in a sense of like helping them find like maybe a property manager? Because I mean, I don't think since he's working full time, I don't think they want the headache of being that like the landlord in a sense, and maybe a property manager might benefit them in the long run.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good.
I like where your head's at. Also, the property manager is hyper local, so if we don't already have a resource there, it's going to be probably tough for you to find a resource for them. But that's something I would definitely like help educate them on, especially if you know about rentals and like telling them like what they should look for from their property manager. And then if you do have a contact in that area, I would definitely get them connected. But their information is probably going to be better. They're going to be probably best served by getting a referral from somebody they know that owns rentals that uses a property manager. Just because when you don't know somebody, and it really is like, if you refer a property manager that you don't know the service, then they're gonna, if that property manager is bad, they're gonna say, oh, well, Richard gave me this property manager and they were bad. So Richard doesn't have good vendors. So just on those steps, maybe like make yourself a cheat sheet of like, hey, I got to do my summary, I have to do my follow-up tag, I have to do my follow-up task, and I have to do my alert. So that way you get them each time. Other than that, really good job. So Richard, you ready, man? Let's try you out.
Okay, you might need to walk me through it, Kyle, because I'm still in the training aspect of it.
Yeah, definitely. So pull up your Sierra and go ahead and share your screen. All right, go ahead and hit lead dashboard. And it should be the only lead you have in there. Perfect. Yeah, click on that guy.
And I know it's a summary is going to be the first part.
Okay, so let me drop the summary in there for you real fast. So if you refresh it, it'll be in your notes now. The template will be. So when the way that Spencer sets the appointments and the way he tags it, it automatically always posts this note in that feed. So you'll always have that note available for you to paste into the summary whenever it's set by Spencer. Anytime it's one that you set by yourself, you'd have to go and do it yourself then.
Gotcha. Let me make this a little easier on myself. Quick. In-person buying culture at office, single gentleman looking for a second home. Named Carmel, he's open to renting if something, and sometimes he lives full-time in Nevada, side of Tahoe. He wants to maintain a full-time resident in Nevada for tax reasons. He's in a rush, but would.
And just call it, and just change Carmel to Redwood City. So just because Redwood City works just. Huh? Do San Jose? Sure. Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. Pick a town in San Jose. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
Don't change it on there because they're going to be using this too. But just you mentally just sub out whatever city you want to sub in.
Triggered if we saw the perfect property purchasing. Okay, got cash. That's a very unique situation. So he's purchasing cash. So there's no need for a lender. Since it's cash. Location is going to be San Jose. This part.
Okay, and then P is price.
Price is unknown. Right? Yeah, price is unknown.
Price is unknown, yeah.
Price is unknown. Okay, price is unknown. Motivation. What would be his motivation? Would I put second home for motivation?
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Pre-approved. Would it need to be pre-approved since he's doing all cash, correct?
Yep. So you can do like NA or you can just write cash. You maybe both. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Red flags would be maybe that he wants to rent. I don't know if that would be a red flag.
Yep, exactly. Good catch. So the red flag on this one is that he's like kind of undecided, right? And so when you want to have a rental and you want to have a home that you sometimes use as a second home, it's like no home like fits both those categories perfectly. So you're going to be like that Venn diagram where you're going to have two overlapping things and you're going to have to find that really small sliver in the middle. So these type of people are honestly really tough to work with because the low motivation and they don't really completely know what they want to do. So like what you need to help them do is help them self-realize what it is they truly want this home to be. That way you can actually go find what that is.
And then timeline is unknown at the moment.
And even probably call it flexible.
Flexible, okay, gotcha. Flexible.
Because he's in no rush.
Yeah. And then partner would be myself. Lender, wouldn't need a lender. Cash. So from that standpoint, okay, that's done. And then the next part would be adding task, correct?
You do task next, yep.
Would it be the task or would I just do it down, or what was it?
Do a task. The tasks are usually cleaner. I personally like the tasks, but the nice thing about doing the traditional plans is it'll schedule the next one for you, but it's a little bit robotic because then it's like every 6 weeks. Whereas if you're manually scheduling it, then you can be like, oh, I talked to him about this next upcoming event, so I should follow up with him about that next upcoming event before 6 weeks, actually.
Gotcha. Since he's in person and he's not from the area, would that just be like either that same day or that next? Would it be the following day, correct? Since he came in.
Yeah, I like that next day touch base with him. Yeah.
So this would be 5-5, and then do I have to put anything on the description or just put touch base?
Yeah, right. Like what you're going to talk to him about. Like, so if you're going to ask him about a property you showed him in person or something like that, you can just make it up what you're going to call about. Don't say touch base. So touch base about what? What are you going to touch base about?
Would it be then to get a better understanding on what he wants on the second home?
Yeah. Or like maybe send him a couple homes and then ask for his feedback on them is a really great first step. Is like after you meet with somebody, you send them a list of properties and you tell them to review and be like, hey, tell me what you thought of these properties so that I can like get a better understanding of what you're looking for. Is one thing that I really like to do after buyer consults.
Ask for feedback, and then that would be kind of
ask for feedback and maybe see if he wants to see any of those in person.
Perfect. And then just add a task. So tomorrow. Okay, perfect. And it added, did it add the task?
Yep, right there. It's on your tasks. Good.
Perfect. And then would he, because this is a weird one, would it be an A or a B or a C? Because he
Yeah.
had
So
timeline, and that's when you would want to find out. But also, he's in the area, and he's not going to be, back, or you don't know when his time going to be back is. So would that be kind of a hybrid of both, or what would you put it as?
I think your thought process is exactly spot on. I think whatever you choose is probably fine. I'd probably call him a C, but if you said a B, I wouldn't. I would say, yeah, I get why you get a B too. These buyers are honestly the toughest buyers to work with because their just motivation is so low.
Yeah.
So what you have to really find is like that perfect property to get them to move along, or just keep asking deeper questions to understand like why they're getting the second home and what's the actual goal of it.
Okay, yeah,
Because you need to know why, not what. Right now we only know what.
exactly. And okay, perfect. And then that you do that in what part to add this to put him as a C? It's where again?
So on that tags, it'll be a tag. So you press that little button next to the tags, and then in that search area, you write, oh, not that one. Press cancel on that. So press that, and there's a little search. Yep, just start to type follow, and then all the follow-ups will come up. Nice. So yeah, hit him with whichever one you want. Cool. So then when somebody's a follow-up C, that means we want to touch base with them at the very least every 6 weeks.
Okay.
And not to say you should wait every 6 weeks, but just like you don't want to go more than 6 weeks without touching base with them again. Yeah, set them up on a search. Perfect. Yeah.
Search and then create alert. And then it's Kyle. Test 3. Would this be as soon as a new listing hits?
That's a great one. Yep.
Okay, default and active. We would try to persuade him more into residential, correct, and try to steer him away from renting, right?
Yeah. So you don't want to do rentals on here because that's on MLS, like the ones that are getting posted as rentals, not like income properties. It's like literally a property for rent.
We don't know his price max or we don't know any of his, right, the bed, bath, or the price range, correct?
So just give them something then, like whatever your conversation was, just kind of make it up.
Probably, I mean, the average price in Tanzania is like 1.5, so I'm just put 1.5.
Perfect.
Okay, perfect. 1.5. And that should be it, right?
Cool. Yeah, go ahead and hit it with a save search then.
Save search.
Nice. Richard, really good for your first one. One other thing that I didn't really think about ahead of time, but we won't, Spencer will usually have already moved these guys to qualify. So these leads typically wouldn't be new. So the status we want to use is pretty much always qualify unless we are actively touring. So like Tiff's buyer, she might want to put those as active because she's actively touring them, just depending on where they were in the process. But active or qualified kind of would work for them because they might only be in town for that weekend. And then if we got a buyer rep agreement, then we move them to prime. But those are basically the only three we want to use. We want to use qualify, active, or prime after appointment, because anything else would be like junk or archive, and that means we're sending them back to Spencer.
Gotcha.
Cool. Good job, guys. Good job, all three of you. I'll screen share the next two, and I'll just ask for your guys' advice on it. Okay. That way we'll keep moving along quickly. All right. So then scenario 4, appointment set with a buyer over Zoom, first time home buyer purchasing with VA loan. They're pre-proven of the $750K. The wife is from Salinas, so they're moving back to be closer to family. No kids yet, but they want them in the near future. No exact date for moving back to town. She works full-time remotely. He's going to be getting a new job in town. They want to move this summer. Also want the right property and are willing to wait for the right fit. So, all right. So we'll do summary first. So Salinas, What do I do for price, guys? Help lead me, somebody.
The wife is from Salinas and they want to move back to be by her family.
Okay, perfect. And then pre-approved?
Let's see. Approved for 750.
Perfect. What about red flags?
They don't know the exact date they're moving.
Yeah.
That's not really a red flag, but it's a concern.
Yep, exactly. So, and what I would recommend on that is like to probe more, because like find out more so what it is. Because like wanting the right property, you might need to educate them a little bit about how the market is right now. Like, hey, what do you know about the market? Inventory is 1/3 of what it was pre-pandemic. People are right now not picking their properties; they're just lucky to buy a house. So, having that type of conversation was like, so what worst case scenario? When would it be by? So I'm just gonna say flexible for timeline. Partner, we'll leave it as TIF, and then lender is it doesn't say, huh?
It doesn't say. We'd have to ask.
Unknown. Yeah, so that's the information we'll want to get. Cool. So we got summary. What's next for me?
So next you're going to change the tags.
Nice.
Mm.
What would you tag this person?
Follow up C because it's unknown.
Yeah, I like C.
Yeah. I would also change their label from new to qualify.
Perfect.
I would set a new task for them.
Okay. When should I touch base?
I would touch base tomorrow. I'd send them some properties.
Yeah. Cool. And then what's the last thing?
E-alerts.
Nice. So Diego, I would like you to go a little higher on your max budget, because you know how things are right now. Things get overlisted all the time. So like on this one, I'd probably even do 800K, maybe even 850. And then price range minimum none. So then that gives us down to 32 properties. So that's a good little search to have.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Good one. All right. So then let's do the last one. All right. Go show investor at a duplex in Pacific Grove. Let's just call it Watsonville. Duplex in Watsonville. He's in the beginning stages of a 1031. He has a rental from his rental property that's located in Idaho. The property he's selling is not listed yet. He will be paying cash and has enough cash to buy without the exchange. He already lives in town and wants his investments closer to him, even if they will make less cash flow. He would prefer to get something in contract before listing his rental for sale in Idaho. So what should I do first?
Are we going to go through the summary?
Yep, perfect.
So let's go to the top. So location is going to be Watsonville. An investor, right? So price point is going to be what the base stage for rental Idaho. It's not listed yet. We're paying cash. So the price will be whatever value his rental property has right now, or at least around that. So first step.
At minimum, it'll be that, but possibly higher too.
Yeah, at minimum, it'll be that, possibly higher. We're gonna have to send him a CMA on that, and then we're gonna get that price point then. But for now, we would leave it as like a question or something. Yeah,
I'm gonna say his Idaho value plus more. Yeah,
perfect. Okay, motivation.
What's his
job
motivation?
So his motivation there would be he wants his investments to be closer to where he's at.
Yep. Pre-approved.
Approved. That's yeah, it's cash there.
What about red flags?
I don't see any, because he could buy without the exchange.
Yeah, but he also wants to get something in contract before he lists his rental in Idaho. So what kind of problems can that create, and what can you do to solve that problem? This is a good advanced one for you guys to learn. So definitely listen up to this one.
So he would prefer to get something in contract before listing his rental. But here's where my question is: if he doesn't need to sell his last rental, why would that be a preference of his? So that would be the red flag, I guess.
Yeah. So the red flag is that he wants to sell. He wants to sell first. But how do we overcome that? If he wants to get in contract before he lists,
How do we overcome that?
I mean, you could try to convince him to list sooner, right?
Yeah, that's one good way is try to get him list sooner, like get his expectations, talk to him about it, kind of ease his fears. Eases fears in that, hey, things are selling quickly right now. So if you list now, you're going to be in a better position, stronger buyer. So he can buy before he sells, and he can close because he has, like Diego said, he has the cash to do it. And so what his fear is that he doesn't want to have to pay capital gains tax when he sells that property because he wants to be able to 1031 exchange. So you can also do a reverse 1031 exchange where you buy the property first and then you sell the property afterwards. And so that's called the reverse exchange. And so if you educate him about a reverse exchange and get him in communication with a custodian who does that, then they can help educate him on the process. And then now all of a sudden you can buy as soon as possible. So now all of a sudden his timeline is ASAP. And then he can list his home within the next 180 days. He just has to close escrow on his property in Idaho within the next 180 days, and then he wouldn't owe any capital gains tax.
Reverse 1031 exchange.
Reverse 1031s are more complicated and they are a little bit more expensive, but they're totally doable. I've done many of them. And for the agent, honestly, they're actually easier than a 1031 is because you have less pressure. But the exchange company has a little bit extra work. They have to create an LLC. Technically, the LLC will own the new property until the old one sells. And then there's like a whole process with that. So it's called an exchange intermediary. So it's really just complicated for the exchange company, but for the agent, it's actually easier. All right, timeline. So let's say ASAP now, just because if we solve reverse 1031.
Yeah, that is ASAP.
Partner, that's fine. And then lender is none because cash. What do we do next?
Get him a value on that home. I would prefer to get it. We would add that task, make that a task.
Yeah.
And since he's in Idaho, I think I would refer him out instead of I having to do that research. If he's already going to be working with another agent, I would refer them out and then have the agent send them a CMA on their end.
Perfect. Edit that then.
Yeah.
Cool. So we got our task. What's next?
Then I would begin the property search for what he's looking for.
Okay, searches.
Yeah. Now this one's going to be a little tough. Maybe we could get his address of his other property and do just like find whatever number Zillow gives him and then put that as like just a basic starting point.
Yeah, it's like the minimum because on a 1031 it has to be minimum value.
Yeah.
And then or higher. So yeah, so let's just guess that it's 700K.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then max, then there'd be no max. And then we want to make sure this is set to be a multifamily.
It has to be the same type. It can't be from a residential to a multi to a residential for 1031.
It can be, yeah. As long as it's a rental, it's fine.
Okay, so then we can click on residential as well.
Okay.
Both?
Yeah.
And then city, it would be Watsonville. Yeah, you're clicked on that. All else looks to be good. Mm-hmm.
Cool. We'll go ahead and lock that in. And are we missing anything on him?
So we have no tags. Do some of those tags get automatically assigned?
They only get automatically assigned because you do the traditional plans a lot. I personally don't like to do traditional plans, although I know why you do like them. So if you do the traditional plan, then it does tag it automatically. But if you don't, then you have to manually tag it. So what would you tag this guy?
I would tag him a follow-up B, I think.
That's exactly what I would do too.
As for tags, I think that's the only kind
of follow-up. Yeah.
Be good.
We're good. Okay, perfect.